Hey, my name is Barry J. Neely, and I'm a film music composer, and I did the music to this series called Tradecraft a few years ago. Okay, so I didn't do this cue wrong. I'm sorry for the clickbait. But this year, I listened to one of the cues and I thought, wow, I could do that so much better. So I'm going to take you through that today, the process of redoing that film cue. So here's the original version of that cue with the rough picture that I was working with.
Oh, shit.
What the fuck?
What? He was moving.
As you can see, it alternates between heavy percussion and these kind of little bit of lulls. And that's where the villains go. So I'm going to kind of refer to them, these sections, as maybe the hero section, maybe the villain section, maybe the percussion section, maybe the lull or break section. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to up the tempo slightly from 108 to 111, just to give it a little more energy. I'm going to put some markers down that are linked to time codes so they won't move. That's to kind of get these sections to start and end exactly where they did before, but again, they might have to be shifted slightly. This is me just moving the sections after the tempo change. So I'm just shifting and lengthening the pieces because the tempo changed, so everything got a little bit shorter, so I have to kind of lengthen those pieces a little bit. And I'm going to keep checking the sections over and over again because I just want to make sure that these changes keep on working. So you can kind of see where they're lining up when we cut back to our heroes. That's my goal, is to make the emphasis on the heroes. So mainly a lot of this stuff is adding more. I'm just going to add more. For this, I'm gonna grab my guitar and add in some guitar layers to this because it desperately needs it. Okay, I wanna make sure the things stay percussive in this cue. So a lot of the guitar things I'm gonna do are more percussive and rhythmic rather than tonal. What I hear for this is a kind of high-pitched rhythm. I'm gonna try to do it palm muted through the non-drum parts and unpalm muted through the drum parts. I don't know. I can edit it later. Now I want to add something heavy to those percussion sections, and I'm going to try the lower end on this guitar, and I'll use C sharp. I think I got those first two. Does that sound like anything? We'll see. You'll notice that there'll be a tonal shift on the guitar, and that's because I have to record in using the direct hardware playthrough. So I play the guitar through pedals, but I record the DI clean and I manipulate it after with, usually with Amplitude by IK Multimedia. I am not too proud to edit the crap out of these to get them on rhythm. Great, that worked, but there's one part that I want to play without any accompaniment because it'll help me play the rhythm a little bit better. That'll work, but you know, let me edit that real quick. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Now, I didn't show you, but I got a better guitar tone for those lower tones. But I'm actually going to get back to that high rhythm because I need to make it better. I need to find a spot that loops really well because I'm going to turn it into a loop. So let's find a place where I actually played it real good. That's not bad right there, but I'm still going to chop it up. Great, love it. I think I'm going to use this loop only on the villain sections, the ones without the really heavy percussion. I'm going to lower the volume of that, but it's working for me. Just needed to get their placement correct. I'm liking that for now, but I'm going to switch gears and add some higher pitched percussion to some of those percussion sections. I'm going to add an instrument track to the V-Rack. The V-Rack on Digital Performer is this awesome thing where you can have multiple sequences, movie cues, whatever you want to call them, sequences, cues, they call them chunks in Digital Performer, and all those can point to one V-Rack, virtual rack, so that when you're switching between them, that virtual rack is always loaded. I'm just going to call these Mideast drums. Let's load percussion. I found a loop on the darbuka that I think works pretty well. I'm just going to use that. That darbuka really fits in there, but let's see if I can EQ it a little bit better to work better with the low drums. Yeah, let's get rid of as much low end as I possibly can. Okay, that's going to blend a little bit better, but let's go on to the next section. You know what? Instead of a loop, I'm going to use accent hits for that. Something like dun, 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 da, dun. Now, on the next section, I think we can get that loop in there. That's going to work, but I also want to add some heavy drum accents in there. Screw it. I'm grabbing a sample. That oomph is what that section needs. That's really adding to the hit, so I think I'll add that in a few other places too. I know I keep switching places, but just when I hear something I want to change, I just kind of go for it. Like now I'm noticing that 16th note guitar loop, it needs more distortion. Let's bring up this. All right, now let's give it a little movement sonically. Delay 2, let's see what that sounds like. Dude, already this is sounding better. Maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but I'm gonna try this really cool plugin in Digital Performer called Megasynth for the guitar. Okay, we're gonna do a few things. One, we're gonna duplicate that track and blend that new Megasynth guitar with the original version and see how that sounds. Because the delay is doing something super cool. Okay, I have two 16th notes being fed into that delay, but I think it needs double. Now, to give it some life, it just needs to dip and rise. I don't think that's enough change, just the volume automation, so I'm going to use the one knob filter by Waves and automate that. And that plugin just makes it so easy. Okay, I'm going to assign a knob to that filter. Okay, all right. And I'm going to pencil in so it's something like that. So we have two layers of the 16th note guitar loop, and the lower one that sounds more like an alarm, but I want them to dip and rise together. It's the right idea, but it's a little loud. This whole thing needs to go down 3 dB. I'm gonna add that layer to another section because that next section's a little bare. Ooh, I can just do that. Just do one right there. That sounds like. That's fun, it just doesn't need to be that loud right away. So I'm kind of buzzing, right? There's this other layer in the original version that I was kind of neglecting, but it's really cool, and it follows the same filter pattern as that 16th note guitar loop. So that is like a theme right there at the end. It's the theme of them, and it sounds like crap. It probably needs the guitar. Great. Just got to keep it simple. There's still some spots that are missing stuff. I need to bring in a big fat bass. Probably only going to use one string on the 7 string. Okay, let's see what bass tone I can get. And now I'm going to record it with the octave pedal and without. So it's just going to be like a siren. Not a siren, an alarm? Yeah, might as well. Okay, you get the idea. You don't need to see all of that. So I'm gonna get rid of a lot of it or mix it down. Okay, I don't really need it in that first section. So I'm gonna just mute that. I'll keep it there though. The higher octave is a little distracting and the low down octave isn't as apparent. So let's see, bring that up. Let's see how that sounds. I think I'm going to take the bass out of that next section too. That section's working, I just need to clean the bass part up a little bit. I don't know if you'll notice it, but I don't like things that dirty. The percussion part in the previous section is working, it just needs to rise in volume at the end, so I'm going to volume automate that. I need more hits to go along with that distorted guitar part, but now I want them to hit in every accent in that section. I'm hearing the bass drum roll that ends that, but I want it to stand out more. Where is that? 6 dB. That's better. I'm happy with what that is so far, but I feel like I am missing something there and something there. I think what I'm gonna add, but to keep it percussive, is add in a drum set. Dun, 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 dun. Something like that. You get where I'm going. There are these little hits that I made just by tapping a coffee cup, and they're all over the score, so I just want to bring them up here. That tom-tom build at the end of that section just needs a little embellishment, so I'm going to add in the taiko drums. It should just give us a little flavor. Again, switching all around, finding things I want to change or add. I'm noticing that the second guitar swell in the first section is a little repetitive, so I'm going to change the chord. And all I have to do is just record the sustain chords. Then all I have to do is, I'm going to reverse them. Reverse. I'm gonna try them out in both the new tones. So let's see what this sounds like up here. Okay, what I can do is first I can just kind of try the old riffs. I really like that first guitar chord. I think it's a sus2. Just gonna replace that second chord now. Cool, I think I'm gonna add that guitar swell to the next section because it adds another layer and doesn't kill the percussiveness. But I think it needs the E power chord instead. I just need to blend it in a little bit better right there. Go. I don't like the wobble that I'm getting at the final hits, those low drums, so I'm just gonna print the MIDI and do some old-fashioned editing. Oh, I love cleanliness. That worked. It also helped that I brought up the volume of the drum set. And then I'm gonna up the delay on that crunch. That just brings a little life to the guitar. Then I'm gonna skip ahead and add that drum set part to the next section. Want to use elements that I've already used before, just so it's not as jarring when they come in. So I'm also gonna add the taiko drum to the end build of that drum set tom-tom riser. Now that bass just goes on way too long at the end, so I'm gonna cut it off with pretty much everything else. Now for that ending, I already recorded guitar, but I'm gonna add that drum set taiko drum combo to it as well. Yeah, something like that. Now I just want to beef up that guitar part by adding another tone to that. See, you can make it fatter just by taking the audio file and bringing it to another track that has a different guitar tone on it. It works a bit better. Okay, so one more thing that I kind of forgot about and I'm going to add is this little hi-hat that had kind of been missing and I kind of lost track of. All right, so you've seen me go through, add things, remix, reconfigure, make things beefier, whatever I thought I needed to do to add to this cue and make it more energized. So now I'm gonna play you the whole new, hopefully better version now.
Oh, shit.
What the fuck?
What? He was moving.
The ending is a little funny, but I'm gonna keep it. Awesome. Okay, so thank you for coming along with me on this adventure. Hopefully you learned a few things or got some ideas yourself. It's just revisiting a piece and realizing, you could have improved it, but, that's what happens. I'm at Barry J. Neely on all social media platforms, including Blue Sky, so I will see you there.